professionals. We have joining us today also in this panel of public health, because I believe interventions at an early age have a big impact in the life of individuals, especially underprivileged children. And this is where we have the intervention of Mrs. Raluca Negulescu-Balaci, the Executive Director of UiPath Foundation. Thank you again, Dr. Pineta, for this presentation. Mrs. Negulescu-Balaci is leading very important global nonprofit organization that empowers underprivileged children from Romania and India to reach their potential through access to 21st century oriented education. And she will explain to us a little bit more about the work of UiPath. She has almost 14 years of experience in designing and implementing innovative programs, such as the as we had in Mrs. Pineta's presentation at the time, the work on abandoned children in orphanages in the 1990s, and the impact on attachment disorders was so pivotal at the time. We're bringing now the story from the 1990s to present day, innovative programs that are being implemented in vulnerable communities, linking education and technology, arts, sports, and community organizing. In 2013, Raluca was the Legislative Fellow in the U.S. Department of State Professional Program, Building Grassroots Democracy in Minority Communities, and she received the annual Human Rights Award of the Embassy of France in Romania for her local women-driven civic initiative. From 2017 to 2019, she was the chair of the board of FAIR Network, an international organization with more than 150 members in nearly 40 European countries that works to advance via football social inclusion of marginalized and disenfranchised groups, and to engage policymakers, key players, and government bodies in the anti-discrimination. She has the floor and our ears about her work.
Hello, everyone, and thank you very much for the invitation, Theodore. And I'm very honored to be here today. And I know I'm in the middle of the public health panel, and I really appreciate the efforts to include me, because now it's getting quite not very late, but it's quite late in Romania. And I am happy to share more about the work we are doing at UiPath Foundation. I found some very interesting connections with the previous speakers, with Mioara and Liliana, and I listened to their presentations, and congratulations for the amazing work you're doing. Like Mioara, I'm also from the eastern part of Romania, from the Vaslui County, and I grew up there in a low-income family, and I think I was very lucky because my parents, despite all the difficulties, have been always very driven to support me in my educational journey, and education was like a lighthouse that was guiding me all the time. And with Liliana, of course, our passion to work with children from underserved communities, I think that's something that drives me every day. And when I was 15 years old, because of a Peace Corps volunteer from the United States, I really had the privilege to join a nonprofit organization in my hometown in Berlad, and I started working with children from very poor families in my hometown, and that was a moment of awareness and realization that this type of work is very, very necessary. I did pursue this dream to enable children who are struggling in poverty to reach their potential. And in the last 15 years, I've dedicated my professional life to this, running another nonprofit organization in one of the poorest areas of Bucharest, in the slum of Ferentar, and joining 5 years ago UiPath to build from scratch UiPath Foundation, which I don't know how many of you know about UiPath, but UiPath is an IT company that started in Romania in 2005 in an apartment with 10 determined people who wanted to make work easier for everyone. So they developed a software based on the technology of robotic process automation. And a few years back, UiPath was listed. It's the first Romanian company listed at the New York Stock Exchange, and now has its headquarters in New York. And offices in over 35 countries around the world. And the founders of this company really wanted to give back to those who are less privileged. And that's when we started this collaboration to build UiPath Foundation, which is a nonprofit organization focused on preparing children for the future. And I do have a presentation. I can share it and tell you more about our work in the past 5 years. In January, actually, we're celebrating our 5th anniversary. I do hope you can see my screen. Okay, thank you. So what we've done in the past 5 years is to reach, through all our interventions in Romania and India, more than 50,000 children, and to distribute $1.5 million in scholarships for children from underserved communities across Romania, and to develop a digital infrastructure that is reaching children even in the most remote communities across Romania and India, so they can reach their potential. We're using technology as a gateway for access to education, and we do think that there's a lot of untapped potential in Romania. I'll focus mostly on our work in Romania in the past 5 years. And I think what's different at UiPath Foundation compared to other nonprofit organizations that have been set up by companies is that we are at the Grantmaker, we are present at grassroots. We're implementing our own educational programs, and we have free core programs, and I will share all of them. There's a direct intervention with the kids that means the Future Acceleration Program dedicated to middle school children, and there's the Own Your Path program dedicated to high school students. And in the Future Acceleration Program, children from 6 areas of Romania are starting their journey with us in the 5th grade, and we provide them support in the long run until the 8th grade. So they stay in school very motivated. We focus a lot on providing them with monthly scholarships, tablets with internet, remote technical support, summer camps, tutoring in math, Romanian, English, digital literacy skills, and of course we have the medical and psychological support as well, in order to enhance their resilience and to enable them to strive in environments that are quite difficult in rural and urban areas across Romania. And I think that makes different our intervention, because these kids are supported by us in the long run. And once they get to the 9th grade, and they move towards our high school program, because the point is to support them until they reach university. And last year we launched the Own Your Path program, which is now covering half of Romania. We're talking about 20 districts of Romania, 18 districts of Romania plus Bucharest and Cluj. And we looked at all the economic factors and the challenges on the ground. And based on that, we went to those communities that need most support. And we're very lucky to work with more than 80 high schools and with around 170 teachers that are volunteering for us to be our interface with the community and the kids. And we also built a digital platform that allows these young people to attend educational activities that really prepare them for the future. And this year we also launched the Path to Code, which is our programming and digital skills activity that enables high school students from all these communities to stay connected to what's happening around them and to see, to understand what technology could bring to their lives. And this is the pillar of direct intervention for children and teenagers, because meeting them and talking to them, we did understand that calling them children, as we tend to, is not necessarily appropriate. So I'm trying to use this distinction between children and teenagers. Okay, moving forward, the second pillar is connected to early education. And all the studies in early education show that in order to make sure that children from underserved communities have access to they have a balanced start in school and in life, they need to have access to high quality early education. That means that kindergarten, to some extent, is the foundation of a society. And what we've been doing in the past 5 years is to partner with organizations like Oviduro and in the same communities where we intervene, to provide those resources that unfortunately are luxury in these communities. And on the one hand, we're talking about illustrated books, age-appropriate illustrated books for children from rural areas in many communities, in many districts of Romania. And also we're talking about enhancing the capacity of early educators, to preschool educators, to really nurture the potential of these kids and to create an environment where they feel valued, to create an environment in which they are stimulated and which they are motivated to persevere and to become resilient. And this is, of course, a long-term program as well. And last year, we also launched a reading app in partnership with an organization from New York, because we're trying to build this bridge between Romania and the United States, which is called Nabu. We launched the app in October 2022. The app also works offline. It's a collection of books, digital books in Romanian and English for children aged 2 to 10 years old. It's a great resource for kindergarten teachers, but also a great resource for parents and children. And because we're focusing on underserved communities, we made sure that the books are available offline as well. So parents who do not have access to internet at home, but definitely have an internet, because Romania definitely have a mobile phone, because in Romania we have close to, I think, 17 million users of phones. What's important is that these parents can download the books at kindergarten or school and go at home and read it with the kids. And the bilingual dimension, I think, it also brings an added value. So exposing the kids to this diverse content is extremely important. And I think now we are close to more than 70,000 users across Romania, and many of the preschool teachers we're working with across the country are using it. Because the war in Ukraine broke in 2022, we also launched a collection of books in Ukrainian English, Ukrainian and Romanian, that's available for the kids that have been displaced because of the situation at our northern border. Moving forward, of course, we can't exclude working with teachers in all the schools and high schools we are present. And this is the third pillar of intervention, which is very much connected to approaching the challenges in the ecosystem. So if we want resilient kids, if we want resilient communities, if we want a resilient society, we do need to see how we can strengthen the educational ecosystems in all the communities across Romania. So what the extra layer of intervention we're bringing here in the same communities is really working with teachers to ensure that they keep up with the challenges with the changes, the technological changes around them. We have a partnership with Teach for Romania, and based on the needs of the teachers, we provide them with highly specialized trainings in tackling bullying, on digital literacy, on emotional development for children. So our impact goes beyond the children we're supporting directly, goes further in the ecosystem, in the educational ecosystem they are part of, and in the schools that understood the need for such an intervention. And as a red thread in everything we're doing at UiPath Foundation, I would like to mention digital literacy. And we do see quite a challenging situation in Romania, because digital literacy, though there's this technology and classes in middle school and high school, there's a gap in the sense that in public schools, the digital competencies that they are envisioned by the European Union framework on, they're not really achieved. So there's a gap between how fast technology is shaping the world around us and the competencies you need to keep up with this and to be prepared for the future, and the realities in the educational system. And we do think we need to build the digital resilience of these kids, as they are the future of our country. And we really include this component in everything we're doing at UiPath Foundation. But when we started back in 2019, we saw there's no tool to really assess the level of digital literacy for kids. So what we've done was to build an academic partnership and to create from scratch this digital platform that assesses in a standardized manner the level of digital skills for children from 7 to 18 years old. And this is a platform that is available free of charge. We've managed to translate it in English as well, so children and teachers around the world can use it and receive these very complex reports that show the level of digital literacy and what needs to be done in order to develop the skills for the age and grade the kids are at this point. What we're also focusing in 2024 is to develop an AI curricula with the foundation of MIT, and to bring this curricula to the children we are working with in Romania with support from UiPath volunteers, because I think we're very lucky to have an incredible community of volunteers. And as I'm seldomly saying, I do not think that UiPath Foundation and the work we're doing in the communities, with the schools, with the children, I don't think that could have been possible without this incredible system of support that is generated by the solidarity of the employees of UiPath, the global company, because since 2019, they dedicated more than 13,000 hours of their time for our educational programs, and we had more than 400 people across the world helping us in really building and shaping the digital literacy activities and creating a sense of possibility around what technology is bringing to us, especially now with the democratization of generative AI. It's part of our lives, regardless of the environment we are living in. And we also created a digital innovation task force, so we're leveraging automation and AI in our day-to-day work, so we can make sure we have more efficient processes as a nonprofit, and we can spare, and the time that we're saving is dedicated to really focusing on strengthening the resilience, the self-efficacy of these kids, and to really prepare them for the future. I don't know if I have more time, just wanted to share a bit about the emergency funds we've developed in 2020, 2021 and 2022. And I think this is the COVID-19 emergency funds are more appropriate.
Please do. You are basically showcasing exactly what we're trying to do, bring people from different environments, from Dr. Stanis, from Mario Stanis, from AI, bring people from the past of psychosocial interventions, working with underprivileged, marginalized communities. You're bringing everything together, and this is exactly what we're doing. We're bringing all these professionals together to cross-pollinate ideas and help connect you. So yeah, please continue.
Yeah, thank you. So because the entire event we're attending today is about resilience, I think what happened since 2020 is that we've strengthened our organizational resilience by adapting to all the shocks around us, be it the pandemic or the war in Ukraine. And I think although our mission is to work to support children from underserved communities to be more prepared for the future, and we use education in this process and leverage technology, we could not ignore what was happening around us. So I would start with the Solidarity Fund for Ukraine, which in 2022, I think it came as a shock for everyone in Romania, that we've witnessed this huge disruption and the heartbreaking situation, seeing people from Ukraine running for their lives and leaving their country overnight. So what we've done the second day after the war started, we launched the Global Solidarity Fund for Ukraine, and we managed to raise from the global community of UiPath employees, and with matching from the company and with support from some other partners in the US and across the world, we managed to raise $1.4 million that were deployed 100% to supporting the immediate humanitarian response, humanitarian crisis, and sending food and medical supplies to people affected by war. But also because our mission is focused on children, we did see that the most vulnerable children in this context were the children from orphanages and maternal centers from Ukraine that were coming from a system very similar to what we witnessed in the 90s in Romania, 600 orphanages, very challenging conditions. And we managed to support more than 240 children from orphanages in Ukraine who are spread in 8 centers across Romania to have education, social and emotional support to really tackle the trauma of the war and to accommodate this new life situation they had. And this was I think a human response to the situation, and I think you've all seen and contributed to this humanitarian crisis. And we do think that in this kind of situation, you just have to do to react and to support. And UiPath Foundation works at the border with Ukraine. We work in Botoșani County, in villages just a few kilometers away from Ukraine, and it came as a natural response to us to build this global fund and to channel this generosity into this immediate and medium and long-term response and support for the people affected by war in Ukraine. And also because we talked about the medical sector, we also had to, I think, the success of the Solidarity Fund for Ukraine in such a short time is due to the efforts we've done in 2020 and 2021 to react to the pandemic. And I think this was a source of our adaptability. And when the pandemic hit Romania and the lockdown started, the most affected were people in poor communities, because out of the blue, people who didn't have stable jobs, people who were depending on daily opportunities to get some money, people who don't have the skills to have a white-collar job, those were the most affected. And we've witnessed a huge impact on the families of the children in our education programs. So beyond supporting the medical system in Romania and providing the protective equipment and repairing ventilators in hospitals, which was a creative idea we came to because there was no possibility to buy ventilators in the midst of that crisis. We did work extensively with the children, with the families in our programs to provide the emergency support to increase the value of the scholarships so they can cope with the new situation. And again, in India, all the messages we were receiving at that point were that people are more afraid to die of hunger than of COVID, especially the most vulnerable, because as the lockdown reached India, millions of people, adults and children, were moving from the big cities back to the rural communities where they came from, because the cities could not provide any kind of support to them, being completely closed. And we, with partners in India, we provided more than 1 million meals to the children and families who were in this huge internal migration. And then in 2021, as the pandemic hit very hard India again with the oxygen crisis, again with the support of the global community of UiPath, with matching from the company and donations from UiPathers around the world, we managed to send 2 planes with oxygen cylinders to India to support the medical system there as well. Of course, I could talk a lot about what we're doing at UiPath Foundation, and I think our work is just at the beginning. In 5 years, we can look at. We can start looking at the impact of the educational programs that we are implementing. We do know this is a long-term commitment, and we need all the support and as many partnerships as possible to really support the 41% of the children in Romania who are at risk of poverty, which is almost 6% more than in 2019 when we started our work. So our mission became even relevant since our creation as an organization. And we do believe that through our work, we're contributing to the resilience of the entire Romanian society. But for this, we need to strengthen the resilience of the most vulnerable members of our society. So together we can move towards that vision of a world driven by compassion, where potential really overcomes vulnerability. If I would really like to stay in touch, you have my email address here. You can check out our website, uipathfoundation.com, and you can find us on social media as well. And here you have a QR code from our current holidays campaign, raising funds for the scholarships of 1,000 to 250 kids we are supporting every single day. As one of the kids in our programs told us, that really melted our hearts, because we're in the holiday season. Holidays need not to be happy, but people. So I wish you all to be happy in this season and beyond. And I do hope we can stay in touch and work together towards a more resilient world. Thank you.
Thank you for your service and for everything that you do. We do hope that we will stay in touch and that many connections are initiated from today's meeting, both in improving our resilience, our ability to have a positive impact in times of crisis. And that is why, and I noticed the map and the communities that you're reaching. Crisis doesn't strike necessarily only the hubs of urban wealth and high mobility, but communities that are isolated, that are hard to reach. And we need organizations such as yours, as UiPath, to reach those communities in times of crisis. So you are an essential link to our chain. If we are to intervene as a diaspora from afar, we need the presence on the ground and the know-how and the reach that otherwise would escape us. So thank you for joining in and being part of our community. Later on in the day, we'll also hear community-based organizations in the diaspora throughout the United States as they're implementing various projects of teaching Romanian as a second language for our second generation Romanian Americans. And many of your resources and the books may be great resource for their learning centers and programs. So I think there are a multitude of levels in which your presentation today will lead to partnerships and support that goes both ways. And I thank you for your presentation so late in the evening in Romania. Thank you so much.